All right.
Let's do it.
Dividend Stock Talk and the 10-Minute Trader present Dividend Stock Investing for Weekly Cash Flow with your host, me, James Gardino Sr. The story starts with the fables of Gilgamesh, 4,000 years ago, inscribed upon clay tablets with mathematical calculations and equations that told stories of men conducting business, borrowing and lending money, profit sharing and interest payments. Money lenders and merchants were also mentioned in the Bible 2,000 years ago. In 1288, the Bishop of Asturias traded one of his estates for 1/8 share of the great Copper Mountain mine. Back then, this type of investing was not available to everyone. It was in the 1590s when Dutch businessmen created the very first publicly owned company. That was the beginning of our current stock market. As an investor, you owned a piece of the company, and you got to share in their profits. 1602, the Dutch East India Company was the very first publicly owned company. They paid out 18% annually for 198 years. 1607, Amsterdam stock market opens its doors. New York Stock Exchange opened in May 1792. The crash of 1929 caused the president, FDR, to create the SEC as part of the New Deal. They were formed to keep everyone honest and keep the playing field level. As of this writing, February 2021, there are over 7,000 companies in the U.S. Over 4,014 of these companies pay out dividends. Just like in 1602, owning one of these company shares entitled you to some dividends. In order to collect a dividend check, you have to be the registered owner. To do that, you buy the stock before the EX date. The EX date is the last day the stock trades before the dividend is paid out. You don't have to own the stock all year to be eligible for a dividend check. Only 2 or 3 days. Collect the dividend, say thank you, sell after the date of record, and move on to the next dividend stock. That's dividend capturing. Now, consider this. There's no trading on weekends or federal holidays. That means each month has about 20 trading days. 4,014 companies pay out dividends this year. That's 62 profitable companies paying out on average every trading day. And not all pre-qualified dividend stock companies. What makes a pre-qualified dividend stock? 25 years or more of consistent dividend increases to the shareholders. Any one of these companies would be great to buy and hold as long-term stocks. But we're here to invest for weekly cash flow. We want to eliminate which stocks to buy and invest in all of these companies, one at a time, according to when they pay out their dividends. Collect the dividends and move on to the next company. I know this is a very basic approach, but follow along with my live trading if you want. Grasp the concepts, see the strategies at work, ask questions, join the group, and you too could do the same. That's dividend capturing for weekly cash flow. Now, this is James signing out. You guys have a great day. Okay, so you're familiar with
Dividend capturing.
Now,
Sure.
that presentation, was there anything missing or anything that needed to be added to make it clearer so there's no confusion to what it is and how you can take advantage of it?
Well, with different dividend stocks and different companies, there are different periods of time between the EX date and the payout date.
There's a difference between, there's 4 dates to remember.
Yeah, there's the EX date there, and that's the only one that I remember.
Okay,
Off the top of my head at the moment.
Okay, with dividend stock, there's only 4 dates to take into consideration. There's the announcement date. That's when the company announces what their dividend is and how much they're going to pay.
Mhm.
That's the announcement date. The next date is the EX date. That's the last day the stock trades before they pay out the dividend.
Mhm.
The date of record, that basically entitles you to a dividend check because whoever owns the stock on the date of record
Gets a dividend check.
exactly. That's like the bookkeeper coming in the morning and saying, all right, give me the list, gives you the list, and then they go
writes
one
a
at a
check
time.
for
Right to
every single person on
every
that
person
list.
every person that is a registered owner.
Mhm.
Okay. The fourth date is the payment date.
Mhm.
Okay, so it's only 4 days.
And then so you only have to own the stock from the EX date to the payment date.
No.
To the date of record.
Date of record, exactly. And that's usually 1 or 2 or 3 days. 3 days max.
Yeah, so it's not a long process, and depending on your trading platform, you can automate that, so you don't have to remember to go back and sell it.
Well, that's depending on whatever platform you use, you can set your account up. Because I like to use Thinkorswim because they have what a set it and forget it
Which
type.
is what I'm familiar with.
Correct. It means you buy it and it's already preset what your sell order is. So I can be in and out in a matter of seconds as long as I hit my target.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That is a different part of the strategy we'll talk about in a little bit. But on the presentation that you saw, was there any miscommunication or any confusion there? Because I can add to it or I can take away from it to make it so that everyone understands what it is.
I feel like that was very cut and dry, everything that you need to know about the dividend capture trading strategy.
Okay, well, how about the idea of the stock market itself? Because the stock market basically is kind of like a grocery store. Okay, think about going into a grocery store. They have a section. They have a section for bakery, for breads, muffins, rolls, and stuff like that. They have a section for pasta sauces. They have a meat section. They have a frozen section. They even have a dry goods section. Paper plates, paper towels, like that. You go down any one of those aisles, and you'll notice different brand names.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so for instance, you'll have let's say drinks. You have Coca-Cola. You have Pepsi-Cola. You have who makes that tea? The number
Lipton?
3. Lipton's another company. There's so many different companies that have just drinks.
It's true.
Okay, so you have these different companies that have drinks, but you're not buying the store, and you're not buying anything of the people who work at the store. You're only buying
a product from the store.
Exactly. The stock's the exact same way. So if you're going to buy IBM, you're not investing in Wall Street. You're investing in IBM. IBM is, where are they? In Texas? In Alabama? I have no idea where they are. I mean, we know that Microsoft is in Washington.
Mm-hmm.
So if I want to buy Microsoft, I put a couple $1,000s into Microsoft. That company is in Washington. That's my pen. Don't get attached to my pen. I'm sure you do. So anyway, by owning a company, you are entitled to a dividend. Now, I wasn't told when I was growing up that you had to own the stock all year in order to get the dividend.
Mm.
Nobody told me it was only 2 or 3 days.
Mm.
So 2 or 3 days, you could buy any one of these companies, collect their dividend, move on to the next one, and you can do it over and over and over again.
That's true.
That's where the first book, 10 to 20 checks per month, came from. So you take your little chunk of money, however much it is, 500, 5,000, 50,000, 500,000.
However much money you have available to you.
Exactly. And that's where these calculators come in. Now, these calculators, for you people who are watching, for you people that aren't watching, they are basically a monthly compound interest calculator or a weekly compound interest calculator. It'll give you an idea of if you took this much money and you invested in this way, how long will it take you to reach your goal? Now, everybody usually has a goal when they want to retire. It's either, hey, lady, you're too old to work here anymore. You're retired, leave. That's usually what, 69, 70, 72, whatever age that is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Or it could be, you know what? To have the lifestyle I want to lead, to do what I want for the rest of my life, I'm going to need this much money per week.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Whatever it is, if you want to be forced out of retirement, fine. You wait to that point in time. If you want to make a certain amount and then retire, these calculators allow you to take what you're going to make and see how much money you actually need to get to where you want to go. So in your humble opinion, There's only 3 necessities in life: food, shelter, clothing. Anything over and above that is a luxury.
It's true. I've had that hammered into me since I was a child.
I know. So just for the fun of it, it's like the people who watch it, I'm going to put in some numbers in here for something that you already pay for.
Okay, let's say my internet.
I was going to think more or less your cell phone.
That works.
Okay, so how much you pay for your cell phone every month?
Well, I pay $40 a month.
$40 a month. Okay. Now we're going to set this deposit frequency up to monthly because you only pay it monthly. That's $40 a month. Now you are only, how old are you again? Isn't that terrible? I'm asking my own daughter how old she is. Yeah, I know, you're 21. You'll be 22 in a couple months. Okay, so you're 22. The average lifespan of a woman is around 82 years old. So how many years is that?
60.
60 years. So if you're going to pay for your cell phone for 60 years, and you could have taken that money and invested it somewhere else, how much is that going to come to?
Yeah, let's let someone else pay my phone bill.
I can't even read that number. It's so freaking big.
It's true.
But that's using the weekly bet. You know, if you want to do weekly. Now, let's say if you want to do it monthly. So let's change the numbers around a little bit. Use a different calculator. We're going to put in the $40. And you're only going to do it once a month. You want to just collect 1% once a month. Okay? And we'll do it for the 60 years because you're going to be living for 60 years if you take care of yourself and your health.
600 years. I don't know what you're talking about.
I know. I could do 400. You know, I figure after 400 it get kind of boring. But then again,
I imagine after 100 years and all my loved ones are dead.
Yeah, but are we be like Yoda, who still has his ability to do stuff, walk and talk, and do all the things yourself? Are you going to be?
It really depends on the
physical capability of your body.
Yeah, like how am I physically doing?
Going to be at 400 years old.
Mental health. How's my body? Am I able to walk up?
Are you going to be like Tales of the Crypt Keeper?
Yeah.
Who wants to live? You're going to be like the Crypt Keeper.
Or am I Cassandra from Doctor Who? Am I just a sheet of skin stretched like a trampoline?
Yeah. That was horrible. Okay, so we're going to compute it. Give me a rough idea how much you think you're going to pay for the next 60 years just for the privilege of having a cell phone.
I feel like it's going to be another inordinate number that is going to go past the whole size of the thing. Almost.
So that's 1,000. So that's 22 million.
22.6 million.
So if you invested $40 a month at 1% for 60 years, by the time you die, it'd be $22 million you'll leave your children and your grandchildren.
Yeah, I'm going to leave all to charity.
There you go. But it's an interesting number.
All to no one.
All to no one. There you go.
No one gets any of it.
Hey, Dale Carnegie, one of the richest men ever lived, he gave all his money to charity.
Yep.
When he died.
Yep. No one I know gets any of my stuff or money.
Okay, so let's try a different approach with this calculator for a second. With your humble opinion, how much do you think you could live on the basics, food, shelter, and clothing, on a weekly basis?
One more time.
Just to survive. Food, shelter, clothing, because those are the only necessities in life.
That's true.
Okay? Food, shelter, and clothing, how much do you think
I would need for weekly?
Weekly. To live comfortably.
In a tiny house like I would like to live in?
No.
Or is it just
no tiny house. No buying anything. Just living under an overpass.
Living under an overpass.
Living under an overpass, yeah.
In a hypothetical situation.
Of course, hypothetically. Living under an overpass, going to work every day.
I have a job.
Yeah. Okay, living under an overpass, going to work every day, and having no overhead. Only thing you're paying for is your food and clothing. Because your shelter is, you could live in a cave, you could live in a tent, you could live under a tree, you could live in an overpass. But those are the absolute basic necessities: food, shelter, clothing.
We're going to say...
What we're trying to do is just try and figure out a base number. Now, once we figure out that base number...
$110.
$110. Okay, so I'm going to bring up the calculator. I'm going to clear all this mess out of here. $110 multiplied by 52 weeks, because there's 52 weeks in a year.
that comes to $5,700. That is below poverty level. But the neat thing about that is you don't have to pay taxes on your income.
That's true.
Okay? So if you had $5,720 and you were investing for a weekly cash flow, that would give you $100 and whatever dollars a week.
Mm-hmm.
And you'd be happy with that. That's just like a baseline. Then once you add stuff to it, hey, I want to live in a better place. So you add to your asset. This would be considered an asset. I missed that part. They have assets and liabilities. Anything you pay out of your pocket on a monthly basis or weekly basis, that's considered a liability. Anything that is an asset is something that puts money into your pocket on a weekly or monthly basis.
Okay.
See, so what we're trying to do now is show you that if you work and concentrate on nothing but building your asset, building up this little amount of money here, and you invest it that way, you will never for the rest of your life ever have to worry about where your money for food is going to come from, because that money is going to come in every single week, as long as you do that trading strategy. I mean,
as long as you're keeping up with your trading strategies, because it's not something that you can automate to just do weekly for you. It's something that you have to go in to do.
Correct, but at some point in time, there may be a way to automate it.
Yes, there is no speaking for the future of trading platforms.
Cool. Yeah, because if you look at it this way, when it comes to dividend stocks, they're categorized in different categories, depending on how often they pay their dividends and how often they increase their dividends.
Yes.
Okay, so you got 4,014 companies paying out a dividend. Okay, now they're broken down in categories. Now I'm going to tell you what the top category is. The top cream of the crop is Dividend King. Now, to become a Dividend King, you have to increase your dividend payment every single year for a minimum of 50 years.
Okay.
So any one of those 17 stocks, for me, it's a no-brainer. If it comes up, I'm buying it regardless, because it's a Dividend King, and
it's going to make me money.
Exactly. Now, do you want to buy every single one? Yeah, one at a time. I don't want to buy them all at once, because if you buy Coca-Cola, they're going to give you what? Let's say 4% return, a 4% yield. Okay, so I'm going to put my money in, and they're going to give me 4%. Is 4% a year going to give me what I need to live off of?
No.
No. But if I bought it, collected the dividend, and then I went on to Pepsi Cola, they're not a Dividend King, but they're a Dividend Aristocrat, which is 25 years of consistent increases. But if you take just the 17, break them up for when they pay their dividends, you buy it, collect the dividend, move on to the next one. Buy it, collect the dividend, move on to the next one, so on and so forth. And it's only 90 days. Because how many times can you buy and sell those companies over a year? 4 times, because they pay out every quarter, which is every 90 days. So you take 17 companies, the Dividend Kings, and you say, all right, I'm going to take these 17 companies, I'm going to buy them to collect the dividend every quarter. So you make 17 trades first quarter, 17 trades second quarter, 17 trades third quarter, 17 trades the fourth quarter, and you collect every one of those dividends. But you did it on 1/17 of the amount of money that you would have needed had you bought all of them. Okay, so you're at basically ground zero, because how much money do you have in your trading account now?
I don't think I have anything in my trading account. I don't think I've opened my laptop in weeks. Not gonna lie.
Okay. No, you don't have to lie, because basically this is something that you can take a look at in 20, 30 years and say, hey, this is where I was 20, 30 years ago. I had absolutely nothing. I'm 21 years old. My dad shared with me. This is what I want. So what you do with this information from here going forward is 100% your responsibility. Okay, the moment you take responsibility for your life, like no one's going to come and save you anymore, I got to do this on my own, that's the day you become an adult, a self-actualizing adult. It's like, hey, I'm responsible for everything I do in the rest of my life. So let's take another look at this number. Okay, so you need $110 a week just to cover the basics. If you were going to do it the institutionalized way, which is you give your money to a money manager, okay, and he gives you a 4% drop per year, because they say you save up all your money, you retire 40 years of your life, 40 hours a day, 40 hours a week, and then you give your money to a money manager and you can draw 4%. That's what the standard is.
Sounds terrible.
Yeah, so how much money would you need to get $110 a week at 4% per year? So to figure that out, I'm going to whip up a calculator and have someone make one for me. So I just put the number in and it figures it out for me rather than doing it the long way. Okay, so $110 multiply 52. We just came up with that number, didn't we?
Yeah.
Okay, 5,700. Okay, that is the number that we're looking for. All right, if that's going to be 4%, we're going to divide it by 4, and that's going to be 1%.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so 1%, we'll multiply that by 100. Now we have 100%. Okay, so $143,000 you give to a money manager, and you can draw 4% on a week. I mean, 4% a year. So you 4% a year, you divide it out, and that's $110 a week. Now, let me ask you this question.
Sounds like a bunch of garbage.
But this is what you're taught. This is what everyone's taught. You know, you go to work, you work 40 hours a week, you save this money, put in an IRA, put in a Roth IRA or whatever, some kind of retirement account. And then when you retire, you can draw 4% of that retirement account. That's what everyone tells you, because that's what you're led to believe. If you hear something enough, you believe it's true.
It's true.
Well, okay, so what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get you to see an alternative way. So based on how much money you make an hour now, how long do you think it's going to take for you to get to 143,000?
So long. Divide that by 13. That many hours.
That many hours. So
11,000 hours.
We're going to divide that by 8 hours a day. That's 1,375 days in order for you to reach it. That's without spending any money. So you take out the $110,000.
And without
$110.
taxes.
Yeah. Well,
without them taking out my insurance.
Yep. But anyway, let's get back to where we were. So it's easier for you to come up with. It is easier for you to reach the goal of 5,720, and then you work that on a weekly basis rather than a yearly basis, and that will give you your 1% per week, and boom, there you have your $110 a week. So now you have a goal to reach 5,700. So every time you have money in your pocket, you think to yourself, all right, do I want a Dr. Pepper? Do I want an iced tea? Do I want to go get some coffee? Or do I want to get Starbucks? Or do I want to get Burger King or anything? Anytime you spend any money other than adding it to that figure, you're giving up a portion of your life, which basically means if it was going to take you, let's say, 1,000 hours to get to, wait a second, there we go. Hold on a second. We're going to go 57.20 divide by 13. Did you say you make an hour?
Well, 13.50 if you want.
13.5. All right, there we go. This is not including taxes. So that didn't come out right.
It's because you do 57.20 divided by 57.20.
Hey, I'm not perfect. 57.20. And we want to divide it by what?
13.5.
13.5. That's going to equal 423 hours. I'm going to divide that by 8. That's 52 days. In 52 days, if you took every single penny you made, actually it's 53 because it's 52.9. So 53 days, you take every single penny you make and you put it towards that goal.
We'll say 54 days because we didn't include taxes or
taxes,
my insurance or anything.
That's going to change the numbers dramatically. I'm talking just food, shelter, and clothing. That's it. It means you'll buy no more clothes, you live under a rock, or you live in a car, live in your truck, and you just pay the basics. The absolute dead-ass basics, and you never have to worry about feeding yourself again after 53 hours. 53 hours, that's easy. You're 21 years old.
Yeah, that's 2 weeks.
Yeah. It's kind of enlightening, isn't it? But once you get over that amount, what amount was that? 5,720. Once you get over that amount, all that money is extra. Okay, so everything over 520, that's going towards your phone, that's going towards your insurance, that's going to this. But if you constantly Bless you, bless you, bless you. 3 of them. I knew there was 3 coming. So as soon as you get to that number, anything over and above that, you can start adding stuff to your life. Put a portion of your profits back in to the little kitty, let it grow. So the higher you get, the more perks you can have, and you don't have to pay for them. You don't have to trade your time for money anymore. Because once you get there to that goal, you're not trading your time for money anymore. You're trading your time for a better life. But you need to get the basics done first: food, shelter, clothing. Once that's done first, then you go to the next one.
Once that's taken care of, then it's worrying about the next something.
Yeah, the next thing on your list, insurance for your car or a car. Okay, it's going to cost me $500 for a car. Throw that number in there. How big does my asset have to be? Because right now you're creating an asset. Okay, the asset is $5,720. That $5,720 asset is going to give you $110 a week. That's your food, shelter, and clothing. Okay, now I want to add a car to it. So how much higher do I have to bring this up in order to
what I need to sustain my vehicle?
Exactly. So if you ever listen to Gary Vee, he always says, "Why is it so easy for immigrants to come to the United States and have a successful life?" He'll probably point blank, because they don't buy stupid shit. They don't buy the big screen TVs. They don't buy the Starbucks coffee. They don't go on these big, huge vacations. They don't get these fancy cars. No, they all live in one house, and they all pool their money up, because there's no other place that has so much opportunity than here in the United States. Like, you don't hear the boat people dying to go to Haiti, or dying to go to France, or dying to go to Egypt. No, everybody wants to come here because we have more opportunities to do something with your life than anywhere else on the planet. Granted, they're a little twisted at sometimes, like the situation's going on now, but it's just, a hiccup.
Mm-hmm.
The stock market's been around for 400 years. Right? These nerds are sitting in the big seat, the presidency. It's just the past 8 or 10 years, or even 20 years. That doesn't mean nothing out of 400-year history.
Mm-hmm.
You can collect profits from well-run companies 400 years ago. Well, you can still do it today. But today it's a lot easier. It's a lot more profitable nowadays. All right, so do you think, on your level now, 21 years old, do I need to add anything or subtract anything from this in order to reach the people of your demographics?
I thought it was pretty comprehensible, but I've been learning about dividend stocks since I was like 7.
9. You were 9 years old when you first started learning. 9.
I turned 7 in that house.
But anyway, you are different than everybody else, but can you see how the math can help you out? So next time you reach in your pocket to buy that stick of gum, or that new lipstick, or that lovely shade of rouge that will look so wonderful in that new dress, do you think that maybe it might be a better idea to invest it first?
Yes.
To let it build, and then at some point, because you're at a point now, 21, if you do this, you could be financially set by 25, 26 years old.
I know, and that would be awesome, especially considering the global pandemic. It's not just America.
All right. If you want to look at it that way, all right, Democrats took over, and all of a sudden,
I said global.
The
whole planet is not Republican versus Democrat.
Well, I really don't want to get into any.
I don't want to get into politics talk with you either.
Well, it's not really politics talk. It's more of the powers that be, the manipulation that we're having. We had this conversation last night.
Yes, we have.
It's
we
like
have talked about
when you're on the merry-go-round.
Used, I don't know, to put it loosely.
Yeah, because you are being used. If you work 9 to 5, unless you own the company, you are being manipulated to
pay other people's bills.
Exactly. Now, the powers that be want you to work 40 hours a week. Why? Because they have a nice, cushy lifestyle, which is directly from the taxes that you pay.
Exactly.
So the longer they can keep you on the hamster wheel, the merry-go-round, the rat race, whatever you want to call it, the longer they get to live that nice, wonderful, cushy life. Because you can be a senator or a representative in the House just for one term, and you'll be set for life. You get a pension, you get free medical for the rest of your life, you get all your student loans forgiven. You only have to serve, what is it, the Senate? You only serve 2 years. That's it, and you get the rest of the stuff for the rest of your life for free. Taxpayers' money. So, of course, those people want to keep you on the hamster wheel so they get to have these nice, cushy lifestyles. That's why they want to say, hey, go to work 40 hours a week for 40 years. You get off the merry-go-round. You give your money to a money manager, and he'll give you a 4% draw. And this is what you get to live on for the rest of your life. That's why you need to stay on the hamster wheel to make millions so that you can live off the 4%. They tell you that, and they tell you it often enough, you believe it. What I'm trying to do is say, people, you don't have to do that way. You can invest a monthly cash flow or weekly cash flow and get off the hamster wheel or the merry-go-round sooner. So by age 25, you'd have enough in your account so you can go anywhere you want, do whatever you want, and you work because you want to, not because you feel like you have to.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, because you wake up one morning, you think to yourself, it's 9 o'clock. Do I feel like getting up? It's such a wonderful scenario. It's like when you have a day off, you sleep until you're
ready to get up.
Exactly, you sleep until you're done.
And that's really nice.
It is. You just sleep, or you could just, you know what? It's such a nice day. I'm gonna go to the beach.
Or it's such a nice day, raining. I'm just gonna watch the rain.
There you go. It's like, I remember a couple of times I was smoking joint. I was nice and high, and I was sitting in a chair behind my workshop, watching a chipmunk climb up and down the tree with walnuts. He'll grab a walnut, climb up the tree. He'll come back down the tree without a walnut, grab another walnut, and he'll go back up the tree again. And I sat here and I watched it for like 2 or 3 hours. Just sitting there, watching chipmunk climb up.
Just existing.
Just existing. That's it. And I actually enjoyed it. My phone wasn't ringing. There was nobody to answer to. I didn't have to go to work. I didn't have a bill to pay. I had absolutely nothing to do except for watching that chipmunk.
Observe a chipmunk.
It's a nice place to be.
Be right where you are.
Okay, so any questions you have? Anything you want to say?
I don't have any questions. I have a general understanding of dividend stock trading.
Okay. Any advice you want to tell people listening?
Actually do it. Like, I should. I have a terrible shopping habit. I spend too much money. And I should definitely invest it, because then I could not be where I am. I could be somewhere else.
Okay, so look at it this way. Could I?
Probably.
Could you discipline yourself to a point where you spend absolutely no money on anything? Commit to a 3-year plan. 3 years. You could do that 5,700 in 2 or 3 months if you did absolutely nothing. But I'm saying 3 years. 3 years. Try to build that up to as high as you want. And then for the rest of your life after that, you'd never have to work again. You only work if you want to. 3 years is nothing. You're 22. I'm 57. 3 years, I'm going to be 60. You'll be 25. And you got the rest of your life ahead of yourself. I wish that someone had told me this back then, because options became available in 1973. I was in 3rd grade. Had I known any of this back then, oh, my life would be so much different now. But we wouldn't be here having this conversation if it was.
It's probably true.
True. Because if I had millions of dollars before I met your mother, you never know. I may not have gone to that bank. I may have gone to a different bank, because a different bank would have had more money and more perks. The bank that your mother worked on was a small branch.
Worked at.
Okay. The bank where your mother worked, where I met her, was a very small bank. You know, rich people didn't go to small banks. Rich people went to big banks. But, it was where it was, and we are where we are. That's what it is.
It's true.
Okay, so shall we sign off?
Let's do it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is James from Dividend Stock Talk and the 10-Minute Trader. We're going to sign off now. Be sure to follow along with some of the trades that I'm doing. It's all free. Just take a look at what I'm doing. If it works, do it. If it doesn't work, don't do it. waste your time, may not waste your time, but you never know till you try. This is James signing out. You have a great day.